just filmed this intro and it got deleted, so great. So we're back on the D21. This one has the bad motor. We got it running and then drove it like 5 miles and it started knocking, so turned it off obviously and parked it here. But I don't want it in my yard anymore because I have too much and I just want the motor because the motor is probably going to go into that, but we'll get to that later. We're gonna unload it, pull it up front, rip the motor out, and then strip all the parts that I want off of it. If you need any D21 parts, it's a 91 or a 90. And if I don't want it, you guys can have them. Let me know what you need. Good. Well, first thing, we live in Albuquerque, so we gotta make sure you can't steal it. Okay. Yeah, those are nice and tight. Get yourself the Sucker 3000 and get rid of all the fluid. Oh my God. There's oil everywhere. So now we need to pull the shifter out. Oh yeah, it stinks. Ooh. All right, here we go again. It's like deja vu. Gotcha. Yeah. Now we're gonna drain the fluid so I don't get it all over the driveway. Yeah. Well, there goes that. Third time's a charm. She's loose, dude. Alright, now we're gonna unbolt the exhaust. So I held myself to the seat belts because I don't have straps. Okay, so I gotta get these engine mounts off. Oh, there we go. 2 hours. I mean, I did cut some stuff, but that's okay. It's the next day. We ran out of daylight. We got it out. And we used Yoshi to tow it around to the back. Everywhere I'm looking to find a 240 KA, everybody wants like $1,500 for the motors. And I'm like, it's just a KA. So we're gonna modify the truck motor to fit into that S chassis. Maybe, let me know. I think that's the plan. We're gonna get this thing cleaned up, get it prepped. I need to pull the bearings out of it. Hopefully get that running, because that looks a lot more fun than that D21 did. Especially with the rod knock, it's not good. Shout out to Christy and Derek for the sick ass photo of Yoshi from the last event. Sick. Missing a bolt. That means someone maybe put a clutch in it. Gotta love that. This is the original transmission, or it's out of the same year. A later model, they'll have the crank sensor right through the top of the case right there. And there's no hole. Oh, it's missing a ton of bolts. Yeah, it's missing a bolt over there too. At least the starter's bolted in, right? Oh, still strapped to the truck. Yeah, my bad. Gotta take the strap off first. Oh God, it's missing all the bolts. No way. There wasn't even any bolts under here. Oh. Holy m. Sure, it's fine. Alright, so we got the flywheel off. Do you see what I see? I don't understand why there's a gasket on the wrong side of the flange. I'm like, I don't understand that. Looks like a new rear main and a new pilot bearing, and it looks like it's been leaking for quite some time as a sludge. We're gonna have to take that off and see if there's a gasket even behind this. Well, I was going to end it right there, but I think we're going to flip it over and pull the pan off. I'll order some bearings, and in the next video you'll see this motor. We're going to just put new bearings in it. First we'll look at the crank. We'll make sure that the crank itself is okay. Maybe we just need to polish it a little bit. It knocked for, man, it barely knocked when we brought it back. I know I pulled it around and it didn't sound too great, but it's fine. We'll be all right. I've never just slipped bearings into an older motor. This will be a first for me, and I'm actually pretty curious to see if it'll run right. But let's drain the oil and take a look at the crank. Pretty curious to see what's going on. I know it's really rusty, and if you've seen the last video, you know it's really rusty. And I don't know how you could let your motor get so bad, but They did. It's bad. It's horrible. Hopefully there's oil in it. When we drove it, we did lose a lot of oil. Well, the head gasket's good. So that's good news. So the crankcase was very rusty when we took this apart the first time. I'm assuming it'll be a little bit cleaner since we ran it. Really not gonna be holding my breath. So I'm gonna keep these seat belts because I keep losing them. This seems to be a reoccurring thing with me. Perfect. All right, we're gonna flip it over and take a look at that bottom end. Hopefully, we just gotta put some bearings in it. She's good to rip. There's a leaf in it. See the leaf? Oh, you gotta love that. We're gonna break one off. Take a look at it. Well, that looks pretty good. Oh, this is the number 4 cylinder. This thing probably ran dry for a little while. The crank itself doesn't look that bad, but these are they're a little smoked. So I'm just gonna buy a new set and slap them in and pray for the best, honestly, because we're definitely not rebuilding it. That's for sure. Crank's actually in fantastic shape. It's weird that the bearings are so scarred. That'll be it for the KA. I'm gonna order some bearings and hopefully get this thing put into the new chassis. I'm gonna try and utilize every truck part that I can, even the transmission. I know it's gonna be a little bit short and we're gonna have to change the oil pickup and the pan style, but I think it'll just be easier than finding 240 KA24 where, you know, people think they're gold now. I don't understand. I get these for like 300 bucks. So we're going with that.